3 for 3 is produced by Impact Networking, hosted at the state-of-the-art Unified Support Operations Center in Lake Forest, Illinois. To find out more about the company, schedule a tour of our facilities, or speak to a representative, visit us on the web at impactmybiz.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to 3 for 3, an inside look into the careers of icons from many walks of life who have made history, they've broken down barriers, and they continue to bring change in their community. I'm joined today by Bill Jacobs, Impact Networking's Chief Diversity Officer, and our very special guest, Quintin Primo. He is the co-founder and chairman and CEO of Capri Capital Partners and one of the largest minority-owned real estate investment management companies in the United States. It would take our entire time to detail most of the business achievements of Mr. Primo, but we will take the time as we go along to mention some of his philanthropic endeavors, including the Primo Center for Women and Children, a transition homeless shelter in West Side Chicago. He attended high school in Flossmoor and the son of an Episcopal bishop. How old were you when it dawned on you that this is the trail you wanted to follow?
That's a very good question. The love of buildings really as long as I can remember, but I kind of codified that and realized that it was all about real estate investment and real estate development. I think sometime in college I decided I wanted to go into finance, which I did, in economics. But at some time in college, I decided, well, architecture and real estate, that's actually, I didn't really want to be an architect, but the idea of real estate finance became very appealing, and then I aggressively pursued it when that kind of light bulb went off.
Go back to your early days. How old were you when things started to dawn on you that this was a passion you wanted to pursue?
Well, I tell you, I wanted to be a musician, actually. I got kind of derailed. I played piano since I was 4 or 5, and I took on trumpet when I was 9. And I decided that I really wanted to be a very famous musician, a rich musician. And I told my parents, I'm going to be a millionaire trumpet player, and they would laugh for hours, at that thought. But nonetheless, I dedicated myself, I practiced, I pursued music for quite a few years and decided to go into conservatory, but at some point when I was 17 or 18, got a little bit disillusioned with music. I realized that I was really, really, really good, but I wasn't the best, and I wanted to be the best. So ultimately, again, in college, I thought about what could I do. I stumbled into finance and economics and did well in college and kind of decided, maybe real estate investment, going back to that love of childhood, maybe that's what I was meant to be.
Quintin, it seems that this work ethic that you obviously have had in your career even started when you wanted to be a musician, the way you were saying, I drove myself to try to be as good as I could.
It is obviously discipline and dedication is critical to any pursuit. But music especially was one that if you didn't practice, you couldn't be the best. If you didn't dedicate yourself. And music is about performance, getting in front of people, not being nervous and performing. It's about intonation, knowing when things are slightly off. It's about interacting with people in an orchestra, being sometimes leading, oftentimes following. And so there are many life lessons that I learned from the hours and the hours and the hours that I dedicated.
Are there
myself.
similarities to the music field and what you needed to do to be successful at that and what you ended up doing?
No question. The dedication and the focus that I took, that I practiced and demonstrated in music has been critical, and probably most importantly, beyond the performance and the intonation and everything else, it's the creativity. Music is about creativity. Even the same sheet of music can be played an infinite number of ways by any given soloist. So it's bringing yourself, it's bringing your soul and your ideas and your, in essence, creativity to the table.
So you tied that in. I mean, you kind of used
Absolutely.
those qualities.
At first I thought, I was kind of different from everybody else, and that was not a good thing. But as the years went on, as I joined Citibank and learned my trade, I realized that that creativity did not so much make me different as much as made me distinctive.
Am I going overboard to say that it's almost like playing a musical instrument to be successful in what you're doing?
If you practice a lot. You got to practice.
Obviously, the temperament of somebody. You are, as I meet you, easy to talk with. You have a sense of humor, which I know about. And the relationship aspect in this business has got to be huge.
As my wife says, relationships are the currency of business. It's the essence of business. Without relationships, there are no business. And especially in the real estate industry, relationships are critical.
Take us through the founding of Capri Capital in 1992.
Yep.
Darryl Carter was your partner.
Yep.
How did that all happen?
Well, Darryl, first and foremost, was my friend of many, many years. We had gone to high school together in Detroit at Cass Technical High School, and I knew him then. He was a jock, and I was a musician, but nonetheless, somehow we acquainted. And we found ourselves many years later, I working at Citicorp and Darryl working at Continental Bank in Chicago, both in real estate finance, oddly. And we reacquainted. He eventually introduced me to my wife, Diane, who I was smitten with upon meeting, and promptly married 2 or 3 years later. But so there was a warm relationship that spanned many years. So there was great trust. And when I decided to leave the bank and go on my own, I started with a partner. It didn't really work out. We shut that business down, and I was searching for a new business. And Darryl happened to call me, and I said, "Geez, Darryl, this is what I'm up to. You want to join me in this misery?" And he said, "Absolutely." So we split things 50-50, and in 1992 we started Capri.
You know, many times people say you shouldn't go into business with one of your best friends.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, why?
Yeah. Because, again, there has to be a sense of trust. There has to be, I believe, a familiarity. And in my business, it's always friendship first, relationship second. So I'm always seeking to be friends with who I do business with, because when things don't always go as well as one might expect, I think friendship prevails.
Give me an example of that. Give me an example of what happened specifically when you thought you had, things going your way and they went a little sideways.
Well, my first business, when I left the bank, I'd gotten offers from the street or investment bank on Wall Street. I'd gotten an offer from the mayor to join the administration in Chicago. But I decided to start my own. And I hooked up with a partner who I'd not known for that long, but I respected him, and we started business. And unfortunately, we set sail in 1988, and that was right before what was really a real estate depression. The economy dissipated.
1990 was
Yep, early 90s, but the real estate markets just imploded, and there was blood freely flowing in the streets at that point in time. So it crushed us. And I had to kind of really reassess who I was and what I wanted to do in my life, and really was pursuing something entrepreneurial, the smartest thing to do when there are these incredible cycles that you can soar or you can be crushed with them. So things did not go well. But in being on your own, as many entrepreneurs know, you just can't give up because inevitably things won't go as planned. But what separates the winners from the losers, in my opinion, is just sticking to it, not giving up, recalibrating, and continuing to march forward.
That's very interesting because everyone experiences adversity in various degrees in their lives and their careers. So let's go back to that now, about how you initially reacted. Did you ever think it's all over for me?
Absolutely. When my first business started going sideways, I'm very religious and have deep faith, and I was asking God, how in the world could this happen to me? I was groomed for success. I got great grades in college. I got admitted to the Harvard Business School out of college. I did well at the bank. I was groomed to be this and all that. And when it didn't happen, it was when things started going really badly. Thank God I had a loving wife that stood by me when things did not go well. That was definitely part of my success.
Jumping into the world of faith, of which you have, it's interesting that you say, I was groomed to.
Absolutely.
And none of us are groomed to anything.
Right.
Right? We know who controls
Absolutely.
our path.
No question.
We know that it's his timeline.
Right.
Did you ever resort to that or talk to your father about that?
Instead of talking to my father, I borrowed some money from him. I didn't need faith; I need money. But yeah, it is. When things were not going well, I certainly reached out to many close associates to get advice. But it takes many years of being on this planet to know that you're really not in control, that there's something else in control. And the best thing that you can do is just lean into it. Just go with it.
Isn't it a very calming attitude to have?
It really, even when things are not going well, it is very calming because you know that there's nothing that can be presented to you, nothing that you can't handle.
Well, you have not only handled the business side, but you've handled the philanthropic side as well.
Certainly.
And of course, the diversity aspect of it all. Bill is, would ask you about some of those things that you have excelled in because your philanthropic efforts, are equal, I believe, in looking over your background to what you've achieved in business.
They are equal, if not more important,
Sure.
Honestly. And I kind of chuckle when I hear about multi-billionaires that have kind of raped and pillaged, figuratively, over years and years and years. And after amassing all this wealth, okay, now I want to start giving back. I think that's so disingenuous and so just not good. I think that whether you have a penny or you have $10 billion, there are things that you can do personally to make sure that the world's a better place because you were here. At the Primo Center, we help over 1,000 people and families a year, but even if that was just one individual or one family that we advanced, that's good too.
So Quintin, let me ask you a little bit about your organization. You would probably carry, at the height of your business, I would say about how many employees?
Whew. At the height, I would say we were probably close to 100.
And when you say close to 100, let's hear about the diversity aspects of that.
Okay. We always just naturally pursued people from all backgrounds, of all races, gender, sexual preference. We really didn't care kind of what you look like, how you presented yourself, your beliefs, your sense of integrity, your honesty. These are much more important than the color of your skin or whether you wore a suit or not. And so it's always been effortless for us to attract an extremely diverse organization and create one. We, even to this day, are 90% either minority or women employed. And this, again, this is natural. There is no grand design. We just hire who we believe and we partner with who we believe are the best. And the best oftentimes are women. The best oftentimes are people of color, in our opinion.
Now, when you see other organizations of your magnitude, do you think they carry the same number of diverse individuals within the organization?
Rarely, especially in real estate, where African Americans, for instance, comprise about 1% of those in the commercial real estate business. 1%.
Why do you think that is?
There are a lot of reasons. Real estate specifically is a business that is very old-fashioned, and it's largely private, it's largely family-run. So, you know, in the industry's defense, of course, I'm going to hire my son or my daughter or my niece or my nephew, and through nepotism, you know, bring those individuals into senior management, et cetera. And we tend to hire and relate to those that look and act like ourselves.
Sounds like a club atmosphere.
It is a country club. It very much is, Dick. It's very much a country club. But with the advent of public markets entering the business, while the lion's share of the commercial real estate industry is private and has all these aspects to it, including nepotism and things like that, as public markets become more pervasive in the real estate industry, i.e., real estate investment trusts, commercial mortgage-backed securities, CMBS, the public market requirements become more manifest. So slowly but surely, especially post Black Lives Matter movement, the industry is becoming increasingly enlightened and increasingly diverse.
And how about access to capital? How does that affect you as a minority company?
Well, you really hit the nail on the head. You know, certainly access to information, access to opportunity, very, very important, and things that we have historically been denied. But at the end of the day, you can have all the access to information, all the access to opportunity in the world, but if you don't have access to capital, forget about it.
That could be a problem.
One of my very early Jewish mentors in Chicago, Marshall Bennett, said to me, he's a Quintin, he said, and he gave me my first capital. He invested in my first organization on my own. He said, Quintin, he says, it's easy to make money when you got money. He says, but it's very difficult to make money when you don't got no money.
Yeah.
And that's really been my mantra. And that's why I've always made sure I'm on the side of the capital, banking, investment banking. I want to be close to the money because historically, we as a people have not had that access to capital.
Now let me ask you this question, Quintin.
Yes, sir.
You've been in real estate for quite a while.
Too long. I
Never
need
too
to find something else.
Well, now you're
I need to
not.
retire like Dick. I mean,
Obviously, you're not serious, though. You're kidding around, but
sure.
you're driven still to do what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Bill.
I will, as it says, as the saying goes, I will die in the saddle. And hopefully that's not until I'm 100. But I tend to be very
So my
active.
question is, how has technology become a part of real estate?
It's been pervasive. I mean, real estate as an industry, again, as I said, is very old-fashioned. We're kind of 20 years behind every other major industry. In tech, we're 100 years behind. But in any event, real estate, in essence, has made those that are in it more efficient. It has made those that consume it more aware of it in terms of broadening opportunities and broadening amenity set. In the retail industry, which I have a large position in, real estate has been both a help, technology has been both a help and a hurt. Certainly the internet has devastated retail, the bricks and mortar retail industry to a certain extent. But I believe over the long term, it's gotten the retail industry, the bricks and mortar piece of it, to elevate our game, to be more creative, to pursue solutions that involve technology into the day-to-day operations of the retailers. We're shifting as a retail investment organization. We're shifting from the traditional clothes retailers to creating experiences that have lots of entertainment, lots of food, lots of excitement that are mostly outdoors as well as indoors. We're introducing pop-up stores that you can go in and get laser fit and have that item that you selected into your house 2 days later. I mean, there's all sorts of things that can be done. As you drive past our mall, your phone will, indicate that, geez, there's a sale at McDonald's. Come buy a Big Mac. There's all sorts of technology that's using in terms of fencing and a lot of different things that are making the shopping experience more exciting, more efficient, more welcoming. So it's been a force of positive change, and it's been something that we've had to reckon with.
So I would have to say, in light of the technology aspect which you talked about, and where do you think your business world is going? And you've kind of answered that question. How did you get to this point? What light went on where you said the entertainment aspect and all of that?
Well, that's an excellent question, and you make me think about all these things because it's all evolution. And you say, well, geez, all of a sudden I wake up and oh my goodness, I'm in the entertainment business, But it wasn't as purposeful or planned as that. But let me say that we bought a huge mall in Los Angeles in 2006 on behalf of one of our pension fund clients. And it's 43 acres, it's 900,000 square feet, regional mall, the first mall post World War II in the United States in terms that it had anchors that were co-located, the May Company and the Robinsons store. And so we bought this 1947 relic with the idea of ultimately supercharging it. And I wasn't quite sure what we were going to do with it, but the idea of controlling 43 acres of consumer-driven retail in the City of Angels was a very compelling idea. So we convinced our investor to buy it. And since I've been traveling back and forth between Chicago and LA now for all 15 years, just by osmosis, you're kind of drawn into the entertainment business. Your friends become entertainers and producers and directors and musicians, and before you know it, you're kind of in the entertainment business yourself. And I think there's a natural intersection between real estate and entertainment. I think there's a natural intersection between entertainment and technology. So as we evolve corporately, these intersections are going to become increasingly important.
Well, what we've learned here is that no business can remain stagnant. There has to be change. You have to be creative to change. And the other thing we get out of this, in my view, is that philanthropic attitudes, don't wait. Start early. It may not be all that you want to do, but it's going to be helpful and will start you on that path. Quintin Primo, thank you for being with us. You've been very enlightening on how you got to where you are and how you handle things. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dick.
Okay, Dick
My
Stockton,
pleasure.
3 for 3, Quintin Primo and Bill Jacobs, thank you for joining us.